Hey y'all, this is my road to recovery, and I'm Kerra Lane.
And we're back, finally. We've had a little bit of a hiatus for the last few weeks trying to get our ducks in a row, but welcome back to My Road to Recovery here at Lawrence County Recovery, of course, with the owner of Lawrence County Recovery, Kathy Ross. How are you? Good to see you.
Doing pretty well. Looks like we're twinning today.
Oh, yeah, we're playing
I had
this
no
too,
idea.
I guarantee you.
I know.
But we got a special guest today, and I know you know the whole scoop on this one, huh?
Oh yeah, Miss Kerra.
Hey y'all.
We go back way back. She's very unique in some of the skills that she has, and her story is quite different from other stories that
Right.
we've heard in the past. And the other day she sent me a message and told me about some things that she accomplished, and I couldn't believe it. It just blew my mind, and I thought, man, we need to get her up here. She needs to tell some folks what's been going on.
She says she wants to be a stand-up comic,
I was
so
gonna
that's just
say.
somebody else to take my gig.
you're gonna
I'll
be
be
in
out
there.
before you know it. But I can't wait to hear your story. From what Kathy says, it's super interesting anyway.
Huh. Well,
Yeah, so take it from the top.
from the bottom, really.
Oh,
You know
well,
what I mean?
that's-
There you go.
Right,
That's
amen,
good.
sister. That is,
Right
that
there.
is.
Well, mine's different. I didn't start with drug abuse from a kid or adolescent or whatever. Mine was when I got married, and I was done being an interpreter in the school systems for 10 years and worked as a psych ward for another 10 years.
And working in those capacities, you did sign language interpretation.
Yeah, I was
for
a sign language
folks?
interpreter
Okay.
for the deaf clients and students. And mine became because of a codependent issue with my husband. Like, it was abusive, and it was easier to join him than beat him, you know. And it's like, and it also started out with the pill mills. Like, I have scoliosis, really bad neurological disease. So I still got the characteristics of people thinking I'm high when I'm not, you know what I mean?
Right,
So it's
right.
easier just to let everybody believe what they want to believe.
Join 'em.
And of course, I cry easy. Okay, my crier's broke.
That's
all
all right.
You're looking at two more that do
That's
too.
it. I'm going to boo-hooing in a second.
Okay.
Don't worry about
Yeah,
that at all.
don't.
I can still talk with my hands though instead of my mouth when I start crying.
All right.
But it's like mine, like I said, I have scoliosis, so I started going to the doctor after I had my youngest in 2011, 2010, 2011, and was on, Lortabs, and it went to Percocets and Roxy's, and then after the pill mills kind of closed down, then my husband at the time was already addicted.
So at the time when you're getting prescribed these pills, do you realize that they're addictive? Do you realize like the trajectory that your life's about to take? Or at
No.
this point, are you taking it because you're truly in pain because you have a medical issue?
Well, I subconsciously, you know what you're doing.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know every time you go back, then you're asking for more what you're doing.
Mhm.
And it wasn't just
Yeah.
from my use; it was also from my
So you'd
ex-husband.
spread it. I'm gonna say so you'd spread
Yeah,
the wealth,
right?
and then kind of keep that moving. How long did that kind of sustain you?
Probably for month wise or
No, like just for your addiction. So you were able to get these prescriptions
Yeah.
on a monthly basis
Right.
for how long?
it probably went on for like 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah. And then after the pill mills went down, of course, pain pills become too expensive. Then heroin came in, and then, of course, I'm not a downer. I'm more of an upper. So
Yeah.
meth came
Yeah,
in.
me too.
So it was like one thing after another, and just
Yeah.
anything you can get.
Yeah.
And
So at
then
this time, so during this, how many children do you have? You're married.
Yeah.
You work for the school systems.
Yeah.
So like from the outside looking in, it looks like just your modern everyday family.
right,
Okay.
and no one knew the inside stories. You know what I mean? But what was the question?
No, I was just saying, like whenever you had kids, you were married.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your family life.
Well, it was hell behind closed doors. I mean, it was really just abusive, and you don't go tell those stories. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And it was easier to make peace with the pain pill, or
Right,
you know what I mean,
right.
or to just deal with it and cope. And then of course, I'll start crying. The domestic violence just got so bad to where it didn't work out.
Right.
It's understandable.
Little did you know that the peace you'd find in a pain pill really eventually turns into immortal hell.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, always does.
But just the time you lose with your family ain't worth it. And then, of course, my kids got taken away from me, and I was already separated from my husband. And I was after 22 years.
So you've been married for 22
Yeah.
years, have kids. Husband takes kids.
No, like
Yeah.
my mother-in-law, but she was enabling my husband at the time. So then she lost him. And they went to their aunt and uncle. And then So that's where they've been at for the last 4 years. And my oldest son's 19, so he's done aged out of CPS. And Anakin, he'll be 13 next month. And so, but, I was still active with them, but not physically active with them. And so whenever I come to LCR back in last year, February
we did
2023.
this twice. We had
2021.
The first time it didn't take.
No,
Yeah.
2 weeks
Sometimes
in.
it takes more
Yeah,
than
sometimes
once.
it does,
Yeah.
and we always joked, and she's like a frog. She's everywhere. She does not sit still. She's
Oh,
up,
yeah.
she's down, she's here, she's there. And I was like, this is going to be a test to if we have the patience. Is she ready for this? It was rough, wasn't it, in the beginning? It
Not
really
ready
was.
the first time.
No, and it sometimes that age of accountability when you're growing up, it hits you as an adult differently too. You know what I
Right.
mean? And it's like, 'cause once I left here, of course I went back to the streets, and this back in 2021, and then of course I was already divorced, and already lost my kids, so now I'm just surviving. And then it's like, well, then I tried to do rehab again at another location in Bidwell, and weekend I was running. I went back because I went back to the streets, overdose, went back, and then ran again, overdose, and I finally called LCR, and I'm like, look, February 7th of 23, I was like, I need to get in. And they were like, we don't have a bed for a month and a half until March 15th. And I was like, well, of course I'm praying to Jesus, because I'm a very big faith person.
Right.
I mean, rock bottom in Jesus is what got me sober. And whenever I called Kat, and they said it'd be a month and a half, and I was going to get high, and I was praying to Jesus to get me in, and she called me right back. She's like, hey, we got a bed in the morning. And I was like,
I tell them when that stuff happens,
That's
that's
God,
God.
see?
That's a God
Oh,
thing.
yeah,
You'll have
yeah.
someone that leaves, or one of our clients will get an apartment sooner than what we thought, and then it'll open a bed up. And it seems like it's always right on time too. And it was in this case too. 'Cause I remember
Yeah,
talking to him like,
definitely.
"Girl, now you ready? What we doing? Are
Yeah.
we doing this? Because you just
She
try
may
to
not have
find."
made it another month.
Oh,
and a
I
half.
guarantee she
no,
wouldn't.
I overdosed 3 times that week. And I was on my way to go probably do it again. Yeah.
It was rough.
Good Lord.
It was.
Cutting it close there.
Oh, it was. It's scary too when it happens, because you feel bad, because you're like, man, you can't offer anything right away. And just knowing her story from previous, and we've always had a connection where
Yeah.
we talk and kind of be honest with one another. And I just knew, I thought, man, if something that happened, it just worries you sick. And I remember getting to tell you like, hey, girl, get your ass here.
Right,
Like
yeah.
we're gonna put you in the bed in the morning.
Yeah, you're like, where are you at? And I gave her my address. She said, we're picking you up at 8 o'clock, and I'll be outside waiting. I'm
Did you know
barefooted
you
and
were
all.
ready then? Did
Oh,
you
I
know?
did. Like I was like,
No question?
No, no questions. Like after she called me, I went back to the house where I was at and waited. And it's like I came with no shoes the first time and the second time.
Yeah,
I'm
she
just-
did. She come in no shoes. I said, yeah, she's like, you don't understand. I'm from a holler. I said, you don't understand, sis.
Yeah,
Sit down.
she
You're all
that's
right.
your dad.
Yeah, that's what I told her. I was
can
like,
tell you.
yeah. So we had some times there, and it was trying for you whenever you first come back in and trying to kind of just get your bearings and ready to go, because coming off the streets into an environment where everything is so structured was
Right.
rough, wasn't it?
Well, that, and I
Man,
still
you
have
did good, though.
I still have the characteristics of people thinking I'm too high strung, that I must be doing something. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Well, that's on them.
well, believe
Let them
me.
think that, you
Well,
know.
it took everybody a while, and they called me permanent twat. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I was like yes before, y'all.
Yeah.
But no, it's like I actually embrace my energy now, my movements. I mean, it's who I am, and it's like
Absolutely.
I can carry it. So much has happened since I completed LCR. Like I've done.
So you come in, you did it.
I did
said
it.
you did the damn thing. You come
The
in,
whole
you did
year.
it all the way through.
Yep.
You did our big houses, our small houses. You did our outpatient.
Patient.
You did everything that you had to do, amazingly too.
Yeah.
There was a group that come around you during that time, and several of you guys really stayed sober and really just kind of set the forefront for recovery.
Right.
And you really let the girls know and behind you that it's possible.
Definitely.
And you let them know that it can be done and under any circumstances. And I remember there were days you were kind of beat down because of the kids. You couldn't.
Right.
You tried, and there was nothing you could do to get them. And the other day you were able to call me, and she got custody back of her son. And
Yeah.
that was something that was like a far distant planet.
It
wasn't
was because
Never thought that would happen, huh?
I didn't, because I mean I did my year, and it's like I didn't ever file paperwork to get my custody back until February. Well, until I almost 2 weeks out from completing LCR, because I wanted to make sure I got it. You know what I mean? And I'm done. And so February 2nd, I filed my custody paperwork and remodification of parenting plan, and we went back in on just July 1st. And the judge was like, "Okay, you can have him." Yeah,
that's
and
a lot.
and
What
right
a
with the
monumental moment
oh, believe
that
me,
was.
that's a new birthday. You know what I mean?
Yes, I
July 1st is a
guarantee
new
it.
birthday. It's a celebration with
Yes.
July 4th.
I overheard you saying over there a minute ago this afternoon you're even going at 4 o'clock to look at a home.
Well, I got married on June 24th.
Yeah.
So Matt older. Now my name's older. You know what I mean?
That's a whole new thing too.
It
then.
is. It's like
you
I-
got the kids back home,
yeah.
a new last name, a new house.
Right. And of course, going to look at a new house, and we both have full-time jobs, and it's definitely nice to, like, when we sit back, we're like, we're doing this life. Life ain't doing us no more, and we're doing this life.
You are. And I'm telling you, it's amazing how you had a very professional job for years,
Yes.
working in the school system, working at Mildred Bateman, things of that nature as an interpreter, and then you switched that up.
Yeah, I
so
did.
tell me about that.
Well, I guess when you go from top to, because I did signage for Obama back in '08.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so when you go from the top to the bottom, and then now you're looking up, and like I said, rock bottom, and Jesus got me where I'm at now. Now I'm a fitter and a welder, and
Good Lord.
I'm the only female in our South Point shop, and
I bet they have a hard time keeping up with you.
I
They
bet
do.
I
do.
guarantee it.
fixing to
I
say.
bet she runs circles
Yes,
around those
sir.
guys.
Well,
up
they
there.
make
I
jokes
I bet her
about that.
bonuses are really
I
good.
bet they're real good. I bet
Yeah.
You hear that, boss?
So life is good now, huh?
Life is great.
Happy?
I'm very happy, and it's like I do this class, and it's all what's the key to happiness, and it's perception. You know what I mean? You got to make it, and it just help others, and just be real about it.
So if there was somebody out there that's sitting in a similar situation right now, hadn't seen their kids in a couple of years, just really think there's no way out of the position and situation they're in, what's something you'd tell them? What's one thing that you would tell them to hold on to? Or what's one thing that you think they could do right now to help them get started?
Don't be afraid of the unknown, because the
Scary.
unknown is the
It
most
is.
scariest thing there is. Because I mean, I was afraid to go to rehab. I was afraid to get off the streets because I was comfortable. Get out of your comfort zone, and just have faith.
Being afraid will put you in an early grave, too.
It will do.
So many people are just so afraid to
They
take
are.
that first step, make that call or whatever, and next thing you know, I mean, I saw something on Facebook this morning, somebody died last night in an alley over in Huntington.
I've seen that too.
And you got to think, man, if they'd have just had the courage or the support or something to make the call, they could have been like this young lady right
I'm
here.
telling you. Statistically, you weren't supposed to be where you're at today.
No, that's what
you are not supposed to be sitting here
No.
sober and with all the things that you've been able to accomplish.
No.
No one did that for you. You
No.
did that all by yourself.
With Jesus.
That's true. Well, that's faith.
Jesus.
I mean,
Yeah,
there has to be something bigger than you in
Yeah.
this universe, and you
Yes.
hung on to that. And
Yes.
you said something a while ago that really kind of hit me. You said you didn't even file for custody of your kids till you knew you were
We're done. Yeah. 'Cause
And
I
I think
could.
that's
Y'all
amazing.
would have took me to court. Y'all would have helped me do
Yeah.
the paperwork, and I waited until I was down 2 weeks from graduating because
Like,
I graduated.
okay, I'm ready.
Yeah.
That's one of those things worth the wait.
It is.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
trust the process. I remember in group, in the small group room, like I always kept talking about trust the process, I'm like, of course I had to interrupt Saturday group, and I'm like, what does that mean? What's the process? I mean, I got to know these things. And of course, Boat Right, he'd be like, just wait it out. You'll see, just do the next right thing, and you'll find out what the process is. And it's all individualized.
Probably
Yeah.
can't get too far ahead of yourself either, because then you kind of get lost along the way.
When you have too
kinda
much on your plate, yeah.
it's overwhelming.
It is.
I can imagine just all that.
Well, because you don't really start out with a checkoff list. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
in the beginning, checkoff list, it's it's your bank account, your savings account, your vehicle, your license back. You know what I mean? You can start with all those small goals, but when you set those long-term things out, those are more like abstractly thoughts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't reach them so quickly,
Right.
and you kind of get discouraged. And
Like I said, a lot of moms though, and a lot of dads too, they think, okay, I've been in treatment for 2 weeks. Let me go ahead and do this paperwork so I can get these kids. So I can do this.
Right.
And I think the best parent I've ever met is a parent that knows their own limitations.
Right.
And you knew it was not the time. You knew
Right.
it was not ready, and you did not want to make them face any more
right,
than they already have.
right, give them false hope.
I just got to tell you, I appreciate that.
Don't make me.
Absolutely.
It's amazing. Just know that the best mother and the best people do those things because you allowed your feelings and thoughts to be put on the back burner for their sake.
Definitely.
And that is the best mother.
Absolutely. Happy tears.
They
It
are.
is, it's so
There's
great.
a big difference in sad and lonely tears and happy tears.
My crier is broken anyway.
Well, that's the only thing that's broke on you now, I can tell you. So,
You are doing it.
thank you so much. You're a super.
Yes.
You're gonna be a. That's why we do these, and we
Yeah.
talked about it from day one. You never know when the next mother's sitting out there that
Right.
may happen to come across
Yeah.
this thing, and we catch their attention, and they go, "Hey, if Kerra can do it, I need to make that call."
Yeah.
And so you should be proud that you took the step to do it. Okay.
Thank you.
And I got some stuff I need welded. I'll get with you.
I know. If you're doing nothing like
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
you got to do
I'll work
something.
on my
I got
roller
some
shirt.
bicycles there. Like we always say, hey, if you don't get help at Lawrence County Recovery, get help somewhere, okay? Thank you so much. We'll see you on the next episode of My Road to Recovery.